Bossy.
Knock it off, Bob.
Welcome to the new Rock Nation NorCal Sports. Giants got it rocking 3 in a row, and they had something going tonight. They had the long ball, Conforto, then VR, back to back, and then
Who?
Luis Matos in the bottom of the 5th. And doggone it, if Hayden Birdsong could have got one more out, even if he left 3-3, could have got the win in his debut. But he gets the no decision. But Hayden Birdsong, I was impressed with his stuff, and I thought Bailey called a really good game tonight behind the plate. I thought the one mistake Bailey made was calling the fastball to Suzuki because
that was grooved right down the middle.
He was getting him on the changeup and on the slider. He was keeping those guys off balance. They wanted the fastball. And, he threw some really sweet pitches that were off speed, the changeup on 3-2 pitches. He looked good. He's got a little bit of things he's going to have to work on, but you know what? He's 22. He's probably up here just for a couple of starts, maybe 3, until the Giants find a way to get some healthy pitching. But you take it. You take the victory. That's 3 in a row on the homestand. They win the season series. As I mentioned last night, the importance of winning these series with these teams that are all convoluted in there for the wild card. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, you want to be winning all these series. They beat the Pirates. They beat the Nationals, and now they've beaten the Cubs. So they just got to win these series against all these guys. And heck, guys, we may have an 81-81 playoff team.
You never know. I'm telling you.
But you know what? It's a long season. You got to win these games. You got some tough games coming up after tomorrow. Tomorrow's tough, too, because you're facing Shota Imanaga, one of the leading candidates for National League Rookie of the Year, and he's been right up there for Cy Young as well. So that's going to be a tall task to get the sweep. You hope you can, because you're getting a little bit of cushion for the next 9 after that when you face the Dodgers and the Braves and Indians. So, the Guardians, Indians, whatever, Cleveland.
Hey, speaking of Indians, we got the Lou Brown winning streak going.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 3 in a row. It has happened before.
Okay, yeah. 3 in a row. And they've won 4 in a row once, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. No, was it 4 or was it only 3 is the max?
No, they got 4.
They did get one of the 4.
They got 4.
Gotcha. And who was it that hit the go-ahead run?
That would be
who?
Luis
Matos?
Matos, or as Cody says, Matos.
And what is Matos again? Remind me.
He's a kid, I think.
One of the kids. A kid?
Yeah.
There you go, Dan. It's the kids! right, there we go. Hey, Cody, I'm going to defer to you. You go ahead and break it down all about Hayden Birdsong. You've been talking about him for a while. Go for it, man.
Yeah, he looked good. I was impressed by the changeup. It's not one that he's been throwing often. I mean, you know what? I will say this. They almost like took his scouting report and ripped it up, knowing that, because there's scouting reports on all these guys as they come up to the majors. And it almost felt like the Giants, they know what his scouting report is, and they went completely against it. What I had been seeing, I mean, what he hadn't been throwing a ton of changeups down in the minors. He had been throwing his slider is primarily like he'll use it early in counts. It's a good slider, but he'll use it early to kind of steal strikes and just change the movement a little bit on hitters. But his curveball is his best pitch, and they threw it like 10% of the time today.
I didn't see a lot of curveballs at all.
They got Bellinger with one, and they didn't really throw a ton, but it's a pitch that they use, or that he often uses as kind of his kill pitch. That's that, and or if they're sitting off speed, he'll throw a fastball by a guy. But primarily when he's going for strikeouts, you're going to see the fastball or curveball. And he didn't throw a lot of curveballs today, so I wouldn't be shocked if the next outing, whoever they face or whoever he faces next are going to have they're going to see what he did today, and I wouldn't be shocked if he gives a heavy dose of those in the next one. So
nice.
But
and what I like about
him,
I like, and you know what, I like the way he exuded confidence on the mound. The moment wasn't too big for him. That's what I liked about it. Of course he's going to have, that's one of the things I think you've talked about in the past is his command. Once he gets that command locked down, man, whoo, boy. Yeah, man. And you know what would be really nice? I mean, he's got an awesome fastball, but it's pretty straight. Yeah. It'd be nice if he could get a two-seamer developed just to get it, get that movement. But no, man, I like what I saw today. Very nice, especially for being his first. And one thing I'll have to commend, I'll commend Melvin today. He let him go, man. He went through almost 95 pitches, right? Got through 5 innings. I mean, that last pitch kind of. Yeah. Well, I guess he didn't get through 5. It was like 4 2/3. Yeah. But
it is what it is. I mean, I think Birdsong knew it was his last hitter, and he's like, I'm not gonna walk this dude. I'm gonna throw a ball at him, and say it's Suzuki, he can hit, and he got him. I mean, 430 to where that part of the yard is impressive. So
it is, yeah.
I mean, it's just
the ball's flying all over the place today.
Yeah, some nights some games it just flies depending on the wind. If it's going out to center, or sometimes it blows out to left. Rarely does it blow out to right. And
real quick, Dan, before we get into this, is one thing I like about Birdsong. At least he's going to be in the rotation every 5 days.
Right.
Right now,
it resolves the spot until the other guys come up. I mean,
it's not going to be pieced together with bullpens.
If he pitches like he did tonight, and you can give him 5 innings as a starter, they'll keep him in there until they get, their plethora of pitchers back, until, they can have Snell and Cobb and, we'll see. I mean, he's not going to be up super long, but you might get 3 or 4 starts out of him. You never know. Mm-hmm. He may hang around till the All-Star break, at least, until they've got a lot of things coming. I was looking at their 40-man roster. They got a lot of guys on the 60 that are coming back, and they're going to have to make a ton of moves.
Yep.
And now that Birdsong's on the 40, he's got to stay on the 40 or you'll lose him.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will claim him if you try and, So they're 40. I mean, you look at the guys that are still out there. There's Murphy. There's Ray on the 60. It was like 5 guys.
Ethan Small.
I'm not worried about those guys.
Tristan Beck.
Beck's a guy
about back.
Who was it? Austin Warren.
Yeah, he's in sack right now throwing.
Warren and what was the other one you mentioned?
Ethan Small.
Ethan Small.
Those guys, they might have to risk seeing if pushing them through waivers to see
dump Luke Jackson and let Warren take his spot. That's where I'm at.
We'll see. I mean, what are they? Is Jackson just on his final year of contract? He had a 2-year deal, right?
No.
Or one more. This is right.
I
I
think
don't
so.
even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Jackson has just been at it. Probably, yeah. I mean, Jelly's been great out of the bullpen, but you almost would like to see him get a starter to hold the line here, and because he could go 4. Rodriguez is probably going to get another start too. He pitched pretty well. If they could stretch some of these guys out to even 70 pitches where you can get 5 innings out of these guys, 75 pitches. Just try and get 5 innings. I mean, the bullpen cannot continue. See, the red flag for me right now is this. They're winning these 3 games, which is great. You got to win games and you take them. But is it going to have a later, is there going to be some later price to pay? You say, as you say, the old Fram oil filters growing up, you could pay me now or you could pay me later. Right now, the Giants are getting by in this series, but what's it going to be like when all these guys are just getting wiped out, a month or 2 from now, because they've got so many appearances. But you have to do it because you can't afford to lose these games. Their season's on the line right now.
Right.
I said they'd go 8-12. Right now, they're 3 since I made that. They are 3 and let's see, 3-1 or 3-2. I can't remember when the 20th game was.
I can't remember.
The Cardinals is in there, but they've got how many games left before? They've got 1 plus the 3 against the Dodgers. That's 4. Then they go on the road for 6. That's 10, and then 6 at home. So they got 16 left. So yeah, they're 3-1. They're 3-1. So for them to go 8-12 right now, they'd have to go 5-11. So we'll see. I mean, maybe if they can, because 8-12 puts them at 9 under at the All-Star break. So every win, if they go 9-11, then they're only 7 under at the break. If they go 10-10, they're 6.
You're still under. So you got to play some.
You got, you can't. That's why this is such a critical period. You don't want to go 9 under because it's tough to get back to 500 when you're that far back. So, the Cubs, I mean, that was dumb tonight. When they
were stealing third?
Trying to steal third with 2 out and you're down by 1 in the 8th inning. That was just like, I know what they were trying to do, a double steal and get a hit and get ahead.
Yeah.
But first, try and tie the game up first, man. You can't
give away outs.
You can't give away outs. Yeah. So I thought that was the Cubs are, they have lost how many one-run games they played? They played like 33 or 34 one-run games.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
I like what Safi says. He goes, what separates Birdsong from Harrison, Wynn, Roop, and Black, he actually can throw a third pitch. Every other young pitcher we've had to come up only has 2 pitches.
Yeah.
That is big because Harrison really doesn't have a third pitch.
I'd take it a step farther. He'll throw 4 pitches in any count.
Right.
Like, it's not even just that he has the extra pitches. He'll throw them in any count, which, he got a couple guys late in counts with his back against the wall when he had 3-2 count. I don't remember who it was, but he hit him with a changeup. And I mean, when you have the guts to throw any of the pitches, then guys can't sit on anything really.
I'm impressed that he was going to the changeup so much, being that it's his damn MLB debut. You know what I'm saying? It's your damn debut, and you're throwing a pitch that you're really not, in full command of yet. That's pretty impressive.
impressive tonight was VR, not just at the plate, but picking a couple of balls out of the dirt at first.
Yeah, he did.
VR looked, like, that being a third baseman helped him, like picking balls because
Wisely played a great shortstop.
Wisely,
Both ends of that play.
Yeah,
that was a great play at the end,
that double
in the
play.
game.
And some people might not agree with me here, but I'm going to say it now. That's a hit if Ahmed's out there, because whether he picks it or not, I mean, someone's going to sit there and go, he's a 2-time Gold Glover.
He can't throw it out.
He can't throw
throwing that. He ain't throwing him out 100%. So, yeah, Wisely being there is part of why they won that game.
And I said it last night, Cody. They Wisely needs to keep playing, man. Just keep throwing them out there.
100%.
Oh yeah, just make him your everyday shortstop at this point.
And it doesn't even matter about a platoon because he can hit lefties. Just make Ahmed your late inning, maybe defensive guy if you're up. But
if Ahmed's going to play, maybe you're facing, maybe who knows? You just put Wisely in there at second base. Wisely, you got to play him, man. He's, that's one of Farhan's better trades or signing. I don't know if he picked. I think it was a small trade with Tampa that he picked Wisely up. Wisely's a good kid. I interviewed him too last year, and he's very soft spoken, very pretty cool guy. So we'll see how this thing goes. I mean, you never know. Baseball's a funny game. I've seen the A's last year, as awful as they were. I think they won 7 in a row at one point last year. So
I think they won 6 in a row this year.
Yeah, I don't get too I'm not going to get too up and down. I still don't think this is a good baseball club right now. I mean, you've won 3 in a row. And that's good, but I'm not going to get overly excited, like say they're back. I expect them to win 2 in this series and split. So we'll see. Maybe they sweep. If they sweep, great. They won. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback, you were talking about how Wisely's one of Farhan's better, acquisitions. I think guys like Wisely, Tyro, Wade, these guys that he kind of finds that are undervalued elsewhere. I mean, that shows why Farhan's a good number 2.
Yeah, he
shouldn't be the guy making the calls, but he can help you find these guys because, I mean, he's shown he doesn't really have the guts to make any big moves
right
in his time, but, he's excellent as the second guy. I mean, I think he proved that in LA, and he's proved that with kind of his under the radar moves that he makes here. But
yeah, he could find some of those guys. He found Estrada. He found Wisely. There's a couple other guys that come to my mind that he picked up that have, a lot of people. I'm trying to think of
Yaz.
Yaz was okay. I think he's, I still think Yaz is best suited as a 4th outfielder.
Yeah.
Matos is going to go back down though. That's the thing.
That's the problem. What happens when Matos comes up? They just start winning all of a sudden. Am I attributing that all to Matos? No, but I'm just saying he
lengthens the lineup.
He lengthens the lineup. He hits the ball hard. He plays pretty decent, good defense, and he brings energy that a lot of guys just don't have. And him and Ramos, and without the kids on this roster, guys that were not really supposed to be on this roster, they'd be nowhere. I mean, you think about it. Wisely, Ramos, Matos, Luciano, Count Birdsong tonight. Some of these guys have really contributed. You've got nothing out of Snell. Zilch. But bad. I mean, 0-3 with a 9-something ERA, and he's saying he's not right. I mean, and he's getting $30 million. Come on. I
don't
think
know, man. That whole story is, both are at fault for Snell and for the organization.
Yeah,
Snell for waiting so long to get signed, and the Giants, if you had put together a better starting rotation, you wouldn't have had you would have been able to give Snell that time to be able to get right without having to rush him to try to come back.
Well, they did, to some defense, they did lose Beck unexpectedly. They did, Cobb was you couldn't have counted on Cobb. That was a miscalculation.
Yeah, but you're relying on 3 guys in your rotation that have never gone the distance as starting pitchers. That's what I'm
got
saying.
Hicks,
Harrison, and Wynn have never gone deep, and you're already starting off. And you might be okay in the beginning of the season.
Well, I think that goes to their development process. They did, fortunately, they let Birdsong go 90 pitches last time. Harrison, all last year, they had him
like a 45.
They had a governor on him like it's 70 pitches. It's like, okay, you're not going past 70. Well, how are these guys ever going to get stretched out to, so I think it is an issue with the development. But let's get into that. The game, we kind of pretty much covered it. The Giants played well. Defensively, I did not see anything that they made some good plays. Chapman made some good plays at third.
He did.
The pickoff. They didn't have any
errors. You had Duvall.
Duvall
did threw that ball on.
That's right. Duvall throwing the ball down the line there in the 9th. But that was their only miscue. And otherwise, solid defense. They only got 6 hits, but they made them count tonight. 3 home runs, and that's what you got to do. Is you got to play good defense. You got to get timely hits, and tomorrow will be interesting because they play a day game, and it's going to be tough to sweep them. But who's pitching tomorrow? Hicks against Imanaga.
Imanaga is going to be tough.
Yeah.
He's leaking oil lately.
I don't know, man. I think he ran into the Mets getting on fire because look what the Mets did to the Yankees.
It's not just the Mets, though. He's had a handful of bad ones in the last month or so.
I think the league's going to figure him out.
Could.
We'll see. It is the Giants,
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if they're getting no hit in the 5th.
You'll see Slater tomorrow for sure. Slater will be in a leadoff spot.
Oh gosh.
Man will be at shortstop. Flores will be at first. Well, maybe VR. Who knows? VR did hit a home run. I don't know. We'll see.
I have a lot
also
more
Flores
right now.
Flores has been dealing with something, I think, right? Some kind of mild injury.
He's the 4th slowest player in the majors. I just
he
kills me.
Yeah. Gosh, you can hit a ball.
And his defense is
Heroku,
every time a ball
DFA
hit over there, he looks like he just fell over at first base, and I don't think he's come up with one this year. If it's off to a side of him, and he's holding.
What do you think of this, Heroku? He's been pretty hard on. I don't know about DFA Wade. Oh, trade. There we go. DFA Slater, trade Yaz, Conforto, Chapman, Wade. I would be with that. Yeah. I would be with that because I don't think this team's going anywhere this year as far as World Championship. If they make the playoffs by chance, it'd be, I think they're gonna have a tough time making the playoffs. I really do. I mean, you got San Diego, Arizona, St. Louis, look like maybe the front runners there in the National League. Plus, you got the Braves. So there's 4 teams right there, and the Mets are hot. So for the Giants to climb over all those teams, it's going to be difficult. Right now, they're still 3 back. They got to climb over 3 teams. Pittsburgh.
The Mets are 500 now.
Yeah,
can't believe it.
500. Pittsburgh's a team that See, the thing about the Mets, what hurts the Giants having a team like the Mets and San Diego in it is they're willing to spend and make trades.
Yes.
They are, you got owner in at the
Cohen.
Mets in Cohen, who just he'll spend silly money just to win.
To win.
He's kind of like Joe Lacob, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then you got San Diego, AJ Preller, who's not afraid to make any deal
trade
to make the team more competitive. And so those two teams being in it, and then you got Washington, who's right there with the Giants, and Mike Rizzo, is a pretty sharp,
he's decent.
savvy GM. I think that's the area that is concerning, is can the Giants, and then of course you got Atlanta and Andropoulos, who's going to make deals to get better.
Dodgers are going to make deals.
Dodgers are going to make deals.
Seattle's going to make deals.
And there's teams with much, much better farm systems that, I'm hearing that some of these teams are scouting, or not even scouting, the Giants farm system, that are looking to make trades. They're scouting. I've heard the Dodgers, the Padres, the Mariners, and so I think being a seller's market, I would definitely, unless the Giants run off, okay, they've got another, what do we say? They got 16 left before the All-Star break.
Yeah, something like that, right?
And then they come out of the break, and
tomorrow's a halfway mark, by the way.
Yeah. Tomorrow they come out of the break. I mean, after the All-Star break, and they have maybe another 12 games, 14 games after
before the deadline. Yeah.
Let me just look at this real quick, and I'll tell you, because here we go. All right. After the All-Star break, they've got 3, 7, 11, only 13 games.
13 games before the deadline.
They've got 16 before the break and 13 after. So 29. If they do something like 20-9, and all of a sudden they're, what are they, 4 under right now? Or 3 under? What's their record?
3 under.
Okay, so they're what, 40 and are they 39 and 42 or 40 and 43?
I think it's 39 and 42.
Okay, yeah, 39 and 42. Yep. Well, they are at the halfway break now then. That's 81, isn't it?
We're at 81 games.
So
we're actually halfway, actually.
Yeah. So if they go something like 20-9 and they go 8 games over 500, 7, 8 games over 500, then maybe you start thinking, well, gosh, we're definitely competing. But if they just do what they're expected to do, when I look at this schedule, I don't see them playing in the next 29 games 500 ball.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough. I mean,
it's not impossible, but boy, I mean,
LA, Atlanta, and Cleveland, that's 9 tough games. You hope you can win 4.
Yeah.
And then you got Toronto, which isn't great, but they're not the worst. And Minnesota's good. Okay. Where you have a chance after you have 7 games with the Rockies after the All-Star break and 2 with Oakland. So you got 9 of your 13 that are winnable, winnable games. And then you got 4 with LA sandwiched in there. So those 13 games, you could win 8 of those, maybe 9. So this up to the All-Star breaks their biggest test. If they can get through this test and be near 500, within 4 games, 3-4 games of 500, then you have a
kind of where they've been the whole year so far.
Exactly. But then you have somewhat of an easier second half until you get to September.
Yep. Cody, I want to get. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, August he's got there's really no easy games out there except, you get the Rockies and you get Miami a little bit. You get the White Sox, those type of teams. There's not a lot of bad teams. The A's, but we'll see. But let's get into the minor league report tonight.
And before we hit that, Cody, would you agree or disagree that the Giants shouldn't trade anybody from their farm for a rental player?
Oh, absolutely.
For a rental?
For now. Yeah, they're not at that point yet. If they were like the Dodgers or the Braves or the Phillies, you could do that because you want to fortify your rotation because you guys are in the running. Being that they're barely fighting for a wild card, you don't want to trade anything from your minor leagues to try to get a rental. Not at this point.
Honestly, if I'm the Braves, I'd be looking at I'd be calling the Giants right now, trying to see if I could pry Lamont from them.
Yeah.
He'd be a perfect fit in Atlanta.
Trade from your 26 man.
Yeah.
Wait,
to get to use.
Yeah. But I would not trade anyone for a rental.
Not right now.
I see like the crazy packages where it's like, can trade Wizenhunt and someone else, or like I'll just say Wizenhunt plus for Pete Alonso, and it's like I have no faith we're going to re-sign this guy. Absolutely not.
And you're not in the running yet. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I said, if you are in the running and you're missing that one bat or that one arm, okay, you go for it. But I don't think
you go trade for Chris Bryant and you try and see what it how it helps back in 2021. But now no. Now I would trade. I've brought up like Bichette's name a lot, but I would trade for someone like that who has another year on top of this.
That's different.
And then I would, immediately back the Brinks truck up to him and try and get him to sign.
Here's the point. As Dan made a good point. You got other teams out there that are far more.
Yeah. And there's other teams with better systems, but at the end of the day, it also comes down to, how the Toronto views those players, but also what those teams are actually willing to get up.
Correct.
Or give up. So, you might not have the best system, but you might be willing to give up the most.
Exactly.
So there's stuff that comes into it. But I think this team could do kind of a buy/sell and try and set themselves up to be competitive in 2025. Okay. Where maybe you trade a Conforto and, or one of Yaz, Slate or whatever, trade a Conforto for whatever you can get. You move a couple of these veterans that either are expiring contracts or, blocking one of the young guys. You might move a couple of these guys. You might not get great returns, but you get what you can. And then you also turn around and try and trade for, some star.
Conforto makes the most sense right now because he's going to walk anyways. You might as well get something out of him.
Yeah, I don't see any chance that he re-signs unless his market is just completely non-existent. And I don't think the Giants want to re-sign him.
I don't think they wanted him back. I don't think they wanted him to opt in.
Oh, I'm sure they wanted him to opt out.
Yeah, that really messed up their plans. And next year they're going to want Chapman to opt out.
Yeah.
And Snell.
I don't know. They like Chapman. I think they would prefer Snell does, but I think as far as the organization, they like Chapman.
I like Chapman just because he's a good guy. He's a strong. Yeah. He's a good vet, and he's a guy
nothing against the guy himself.
He'll play every day.
He was one of my favorite non-Giants.
He's not a productive offensive player.
Yeah.
Right.
He was one of my favorite non-Giants in the league before he came here. It's just
I just don't like his offensive
super
game.
Streaky. Yeah,
he's super streaky. I'm not a fan of it. When he hits it hard. But
here, real quick before we get into the minor league, a little bit of conspiracy theory here. You think the reason why the Giants are treating the Snell the way they are is because they want him to opt out?
I don't think it'll matter, but maybe. I mean, I had texted you guys kind of about it where I get both sides. Like I understand Snell sitting there saying, I want to get right and everything. And I also feel like, the Giants have every right to feel like, dude, it's June. You've given us nothing and we want some return on investment on our $31 million we're paying you. So, and frankly, I wish he would have just kept his mouth shut and not taken this to the media. And it to me, it just comes across.
That's why it makes me wonder. Yeah. There's something wonky going on between them.
It gives off the vibes of like, oh, my wallet is too thick for my pockets. Like my gold shoes don't fit. Yeah, it's like, dude, no one wants to hear it.
Exactly.
You're getting
All right,
paid
let's get into the
31 to
minor league.
They're
rehab.
trying to push his buttons, maybe what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Yep.
Exactly.
trigger them to say, I can't stand this organization.
Exactly.
They don't care
And
about
maybe
my
it works.
long-term.
Yeah.
They don't care about my long-term health. Maybe
That's
the
what I'm
Giants
saying.
are just saying, you know what? We just want you to pitch this year. We're not even worried about the next year because we want underneath this whole persona, we're trying to push you out. So get your butt out there and pitch. We need you.
Yeah.
We need you. So well, maybe there is some truth to that. That's a good point because it's a leverage play that I might take too. Because if I really don't care about his long-term health, I want him out. I want him out.
Yeah, but if there's already a perception of the club, look at how they treated Correa. Look,
that they were vindicated on Correa the second the Mets backed out. So
yeah, to an extent, but he's having a pretty damn good season right now, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've said multiple times that
I think it's the way, but I think it's the way the Giants went about it was not right. They might have been vindicated, but you don't do it on the day of the freaking. You're supposed to get ready to go to the podium, and all of a sudden stop the presses.
That's the hard part with how they schedule these press conferences, like fresh off the physicals. It's like, and then you hear about it going forward, where they'll have a press conference scheduled. They're like, oh, they're getting their physical, and the press conference will be tomorrow. And it's like, have we learned nothing from the Correa situation?
I know.
We have a couple days here.
Okay, let's get it. We bantered around along with this. Let's get into the minor league report.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Wade played tonight at first base.
Oh, here, let's take a look.
Went 1 for 3, base on ball and a strikeout. And Fitzgerald hit a homer. Luciano played second base 0 for 2, 2 walks and a strikeout.
Luciano homered, you said?
No homer, not a homer. 1K, 2 walks, and 0 for 2. McRae 1 for 5, hitting 186, 3 Ks. Let's see, Schmidt 1 for 4.
Streaky.
Some of the
Bishop,
other guys
1 for 5.
Yeah, 1 for 5, 2 RBIs, 2 Ks, 2 base on balls. Oh no, it's Luciano, 2 base on balls. So yeah,
Fitz had a homer. McRae homered.
McRae homered?
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
Bishop had a double.
Yeah, McRae
in the 8th inning.
He's streaky. Homer. He's streaky. The one thing that's a saving grace for Grant McRae is that he walks a lot.
Fitzgerald hit 1 too.
He can, he can utilize his speed if he does draw a lot of walks. So I mean, it's one thing that helps him because he's got a ton of swing and miss in his game. So yeah.
Before we get into it, we got a promotion to talk about, right? Mr. No, promotion for Mr.
Bryce Eldridge. Yes. We had quite a few promotions, actually. Jack Choate went to Richmond. Jonah Cox went up to Eugene.
Oh, he did? Okay, good.
Yeah. Bryce Eldridge is up there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be – I might be taking the trip down there.
Nice.
Sunday. I'm thinking about – it's like 3+ hours both ways, and I don't even care. Like,
nice.
I think Whitman might be pitching down there on Sunday and see Bryce and Jonah Cox.
There you go, man. Sweet.
Diego and O'Neill.
Joe Whitman, their lefty, that wasn't he the pick they got for Bumgardner?
Was he? No, he was. Was he Rodon? Was he the comp pick for Rodon?
Maybe it was Rodon.
What they drafted him last season.
Oh, then it would have been.
Then
Rodon.
it would have been.
I
Yeah.
think it was Rodon.
Stripling was it? No, not Stripling. Was it?
That was Jonah Cox. That's who they traded. That's who they got in the trade. Which I mean, hey, he's got like 38 steals this season, so that's a
dang.
Yeah,
put him on my fantasy.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, but Bryce Eldridge, I think Roger Munter reported right after the game. They said it's his last game in San Jose, and he's hopping on a plane. So, yeah,
sweet
one. Yeah. But yeah, running through the system, last week I got to sit there and say about all the great things that happened on the week, and uh this week it's not as much, unfortunately. A lot of guys struggled. Um Especially Sacramento. I mean, they went 2-4 versus Round Rock, and basically everybody didn't have there unless your name was Carson Wisenhunt, and everyone else kind of struggled. Eugene Whitman made his debut in high A, went 4 innings scoreless. I think he went another 4 Tuesday and gave up 1 run. But they're limiting it like they do with all these guys. They baby them, so they're limiting him into like the 60-70 pitch range right now. Trevor McDonald is rehabbing. For those of you that remember or recognize that name, he was one of the guys they added to the 40 man before the season to protect him from the Rule 5. He was injured for like 2 months to start the season. He's now back, and they started him in the ACL. Now he's in Eugene, and I don't know if they'll move him up further from there. But he's been throwing. He threw pretty well a couple times last week. He kind of struggled a little bit, but Will Bednar had another good week. They've been limiting him to 2 innings each outing. He threw another 2 scoreless. He's been really good in Eugene, and I think I heard that he might have gotten promoted to Richmond too.
Wow.
He's moving quick.
Make him a closer.
That's what's going to. So it looks like he's going to be a bullpen arm, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if they're just trying to keep him healthy this season, because I mean he has thrown a lot of innings. Obviously in college he did it, and so I don't know
blew himself up winning that World Series.
Yeah, well, and then he has all those back injuries last season where he basically lost the entire season. So
Giants love first round back or early high pick back injury guys. Luciano, Bednar.
Yeah. So
Bishop's had a bunch of issues. Man, Giants drafting guys, it's a crapshoot, man.
Yeah, and I mean, if the one defense I'll come to Farhan on those two, on Bishop and Bednar, is they didn't have injury histories like that in college. So it's like sometimes you just get crap luck, and it is what it is. So
it's kind of
that's as much defending of him as I can do. But
it kind of sucks because he gets these guys, like you said, Bednar and Bishop, that didn't have any injury history, and they get injured, and then he goes and drafts Crawford, who does have injury history. So
and he gets injured. I mean, he is supposedly going to Arizona to pitch in the complex league for some rehab. He went out to I don't know if you guys saw, the Giants brought some minor league guys over to Rickwood for that game.
A bunch of them. Yeah.
And they interviewed Crawford, and we finally got to find out what happened with his injury, where he had a biceps impingement. So
biceps impingement?
Yes. So it sounds, I mean, I gotta say, of all the injuries, that's not one I'm super familiar with as far as like.
When I think of impingement, I thought it would be like in a joint or something, not in a muscle like that. I guess, whatever. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's one that I'm not sure if it's just they were being overly cautious or if it does take some time, exactly how that works, but because that's not an injury I'm as familiar with. But he's going to Arizona to rehab. So that's good that he's throwing again. Landon Roop has been in the complex league. He's been throwing the ball really well, rehabbing as well. So I'd imagine.
What was his injury?
That one I did not hear.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like I might have heard something about a shoulder, but just the minors, it's so hard to get anything on any.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you can't get nothing out of them.
Fractured. I heard fractured eyelash.
Fractured eyelash. Gotcha.
Love
nice.
It. But yeah, so a couple. So
real quick, speaking of the complex, is Von Brown still in the complex? Is he down there? What's the hell?
Yeah, they put him on a developmental list or something, but I haven't seen him in the lineup, so I'm not really sure what he's doing.
He's gone, probably.
Developmental, is that like tutoring?
Yeah,
it's something, man. I don't know.
Individualized tutoring.
There you go. Yeah. Yep.
Walker Martin and Rainer Arias are both playing in complex league right now.
I should get down and see these guys. Dang.
Yeah, they're playing down there.
I know there's a couple games that are really close. They play them at night. There's one in Peoria that's 12 minutes from me, and then there's one in Surprise. I should find out when they're playing in these stadiums and go. Dang.
Yeah, if I was down there, I'd definitely go check those guys. But yeah, Walker Martin's struggling a bit. Well, actually, he I shouldn't say struggling. He's striking out too much still, but the bat did get going a little bit. Went 6 for 20 last week, and also drew 5 walks, so there was a positive there. Like I said, Rainer Arias just started playing. I think he played in like 2 games last week, so he's down there. Meckler had been in San Jose. Now he's back in Arizona, so I'm not sure if he re-aggravated something and got hurt again. Who knows?
It was a wrist, right?
Yeah,
Initially
I think so, because he got hit by a pitch like right before the season. So he's been down
that's
there.
no joke. I mean, look what happened to Encarnacion Strand. He's out for the whole season because of a wrist.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of little bones in there that can screw up your season. I think everyone saw Snell and Robbie Ray through rehab games in Sacramento. They piggybacked on each other, and Robbie Ray, I actually kind of brought the thought up where when the Giants have been throwing all these openers and some of these guys they've been asking to eat up innings, that we're having Spencer Bivens give us 3 innings, and Burgess yesterday, and some of these arms that they're just trotting out there to eat 2 or 3 innings. And I kind of hit the point where I'm like, if we're going to just do an opener anyway, if Robbie Ray can give you 50 or 60 pitches, at what point do you just say, you go give us your 60 pitches and we'll bullpen it from there? Like, it's just some of the arms we're trotting out there. It's kind of ridiculous, but
yeah,
I'm not going to go down that too much.
He's just got to work up his arm.
He threw 45. And if he can, and my thing is like, I'm not saying push him and try and make him throw more, but if we're only going to have, if we're going to have Randy Rodriguez throw 50 pitches, it's like, if he can get to that, why not? Other than that, I mean, Richmond actually has turned it around a little bit over in Double-A. A couple guys that have really started to get going are Victor Barracoto. He had a nice week, 9 for 21.
Power guy.
Yeah, he gets some crazy exit velocities.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about him putting 120 off the bat in San Jose at one point. Jairo Pomares went 5 for 20. He had another homer. He's had a nice season. I'd have to check. I don't know it off the top of my head, but his OPS is right around 800, which in the Eastern League is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much. Oh, Carson Ragsdale. I do want to give him a shout out. He's had like 3 straight starts where
wasn't he in that JD trade? Was he in the JD Davis trade from the Mets?
No, I don't think so. Ragsdale?
Yeah, I thought he was.
Was he?
I'd have to find that one.
They got the one lefty pitcher who's had that arm trouble.
Zapuki?
Sam Coonrod.
Sam Coonrod.
Oh, it was for Coonrod.
And that was the Phillies, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like 26, so he is older as far as prospects go. But, I don't discriminate on the age there. He's still having a really good couple years, and he's throwing the ball pretty well, and he's up to 90 pitches. He's thrown in that range, the high 80s, 90s range for about 3 starts in a row. So, he'll probably get promoted soon, I'd imagine.
What do you think it is, Cody, with these the Giants? Why do they leave guys down so long at the lower levels that are having success and not just get them up there into Double-A and leave them there for 4 to 6 months, maybe a whole season, and then move them up to Triple-A, get them a season? It seems like all these guys like Matos and Ramos for a while, and then Luciano, they just push them through, and they don't even get any development time. And then they bring them up to the majors, and a lot of times they just sit them. And
yeah,
I don't understand why they don't just let these guys, instead of trying to develop them at these low, like Eldridge, you mentioned, he's down there at low A for a long, long time. It seems like the place to develop guys is in double A. I mean, give them their time, but the guys that are really projected to be your guys in San Francisco that you expect to make it, seems like you want to give those guys a lot of double A at bats and triple A.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I ask the same question. It feels like every year. The Giants have this backwards philosophy of giving these guys almost full seasons in A ball and high A. And then it's like they get to double A, and I don't know if they're worried about destroying their confidence or something in the Eastern League because it's so difficult on hitters or what. But they'll just rush them through. And then even in AAA, it's like then they get on the doorstep, and it's like as soon as a big league team needs someone, they just yank them up and they start taxi squatting these guys. And you'll get players that get called up that only have like 300 at bats between AA and AAA. I think Matos had even less than that when he got called up last season between the two. Same with Schmidt, and Bailey. These guys all had,
and Meckler.
Yeah, and Meckler. Yeah, Meckler had like 400 at bats total in the minors, which I mean, kudos to the guy.
He
hit
flew.
like 380.
He flew.
So yeah.
Then I read an article today. Was it The Athletic or something about the roster crunch coming, and then did you see that one?
I saw some comments on it. I saw some tweets come out about that.
There was one line in here. It just irritated me. This is the way San Francisco.
5 guys I could name off the top of my head that you could DFA and not blink. And that's not even going to the vets. But
the way these writers, these San Francisco writers, they are so conditioned to this. Here it is. The 40-man roster crunch is coming, where it stands for Beck, Cobb, others return. And there's one line in here that just really just irritated me. Here it is. And he mentions some of these guys. He mentions their outfielders. He says, these are the players, this is a group of players who very clearly fit into the season-long plans of the Giants at some point, either in the recent past or present. Catchers, Bailey, Sable. Infielders, Chapman, Estrada, Flores, Wisely, Wade. Outfielders, Conforto, Ramos, Slater, Yaz, Soler. No Matos. Pitchers, Duvall, Harrison, Hicks, Jelly, Jackson, Rogers, Snell, Walker, Webb. And then this is the line that just drives me nuts. Some of these players have only recently been promoted into this category, like Jelly, Ramos, and Wisely. They can be regulated like East Bonningtonshire FC if they go into an extended slump, but they look extremely steady for now. He's throwing Ramos in there like if he goes into an extended slump, that they could be regulated, because they have options. But have we not seen enough of Ramos to know, yes, he may go into a slump, but he's a Major League Baseball player, okay? He shouldn't be being talked about in an article that could be sent down.
You know what he should be talking about? He should be talking about Ramos being an all-star. Man, he does
And,
have a nice swing, doesn't he?
the thing, and I love him going to right field. He's been
He's doing that a
of
lot.
a couple home runs recently at Oracle. He's been oracled. If he was in Cincinnati,
Oh,
he'd have 15 homers right now.
well, how about New York?
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati's a bandbox.
Yeah, but that right field in freaking Yankee Stadium, it's like 300 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cincy right field is super live too.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean, you put
And
him.
how about his defense? Do you see him go get it today? He
I
on the
love his
course.
defense, man.
His
He looks like
defense
Willie
is
Mays.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care what any I'm going to be honest, I haven't really looked at any of the metrics and any of the analytics or whatever, but I don't really care what they say. His defense and center is rock solid.
Man, I thought that was going to be a triple, and he ran that thing. He got up on his horse, and he got it, man.
Ramos
a good first step.
See, don't get me going on this because I saw this in this kid watching him play in spring training for 2 years. And I saw the talent. I saw the tools. And I just said, this guy just needs to get the opportunity to play, not come up for a weekend series and face a lefty, and then be sent down because the matchups. And Farhan was pulling this crap on this kid for 2 years, 22 and 23. Everybody, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And they just needed to work with him like they did. And they worked on his swing. And they just needed to give him his opportunity. My thing with Ramos has always been I think he's a 5-tool guy. Are they all elite 5-tool? No, but he's above average, in my opinion, in all 5 of the tools. He's got speed. He can hit. He can hit for some power. He's got a great arm. What's the 5th one I'm missing?
It's hit for average, hit for power, defense, arm, and running.
Yeah, he's got all 5.
He does.
He's their best.
Oh, you know what else he has too?
He's the most talented player they have.
Did you see the shots of him in the dugout when VR hit that home run?
Oh, slapping the fence.
Oh, dude, he was the one. He was getting more excited than anyone else, man. He's a team player. You ever see him?
He's also
in the dugout?
He might be a leader in like a year or two.
Yes.
I mean, so everyone the running joke. I mean, we have kind of a running joke with Wilmer Flores where it's like, what does he bring to the team at this point? And it's kind of down to basically just, he's the mentor for the Spanish
right.
player,
just how to be a big leader.
Having someone, And you get a guy like Ramos where he's bilingual. So he's going to be able to relate to anybody
Correct.
Almost anybody that walks through that door. And the one thing that I like with a guy like Ramos succeeding and having him on the club is with his success that he's having, the pedigree he's going to have for every young guy that comes in there that either gets jerked around or it struggles right out the gate or anything, any of this stuff. If you have a guy like Ramos in the dugout that's like, man, I've been in your shoes, it's going to help those guys, at least my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
He can relate. Absolutely. And there you go. Just real quick on his fielding, you can see he's almost at the great level, 84 percentile.
Yeah. I'll say this, the other thing about Flores and the Giants. They do it every year, and they better not make the same mistake this year. I said last year, best time to trade Flores is last year because he had a great year, 23 homers, and you knew his value is not going to stay up. And they need to do the same thing with Wade this year. When Wade comes back,
no,
what?
No, oh my God! I'm just looking. Go ahead. Keep going. I'll show you this afterwards. Woo.
Oh, okay. I was looking at something. I'm trying to pull something up here. Base. Okay. So, come on, open up. There we go. All right. I want to show you guys something that's pretty interesting because the Giants, I don't know who's a good team that they could trade with, Cody.
What are
You
we
mentioned
selling?
the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, I use the Braves as an example for
Right.
like Wade, just because specifically I think he would fit what they do. You know, when Wade walks a bunch and gets on base a bunch here, hitting his singles and his walks, it doesn't, who's driving him in?
That's
Now
the
we have
issue.
Ramos, so maybe
Yes.
Ramos can get him in, but
Bailey could probably get him in.
yeah, maybe Bailey,
I want you
but
to
it's
take a look at these
been a
values.
struggle.
Do you guys remember when we looked at the beginning of the year, Ramos had like about a 6 or 8 surplus?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Look where he's at now.
49.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So look at Webb, 91. People sometimes say I'm nuts but Webb can bring you a haul. And because of his contract, and I just think you're better off moving off a guy if especially if you're not in contention, which I don't think.
Floated a Webb hypothetical the other day.
But you look at their top 5 guys. It's Webb, Ramos, Harrison, Bailey, and Eldridge. Matos has really dropped off, which is interesting. He was 34 earlier this year.
Yeah.
Wade 15. He was a little higher, but he got hurt. But the Giants don't. I mean, look at Duvall. Remember, Duvall was a 30-something.
Yeah, he was.
He was a 30-something. It was Webb and Duvall were their highest, and then Harrison. So this thing fluctuates. Obviously, these values, but Wisenhunt's actually come up a little bit. Hicks
Matos kind of dropped. He was in the 30s.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, Matos was 33, 34. He was their second most valuable. I mean,
if he has another hot week and all of a sudden he drags his stats up, this could just go right back up.
But these values, I mean, you see some of these guys are just have no value whatsoever. Birdsong should go up. He's a 4.8. I think people see that he's got major league stuff.
Yeah. And I think there's what this has for value, and then there's what the league would have for value. And guys like Birdsong would have value for sure, like you just said.
Right. Now, if I looked at the Braves just to see, you mentioned Wade, that's a 15. We'll just
I'm not super familiar with their farm system, I'll be honest.
We'll just trade for Acuna. How did Acuna's value drop so bad? I know he's hurt, but
because he's hurt. Yeah.
But my goodness.
He's out for the whole damn year. That's why.
1 year. Next year, that value shoots up well over 100 again.
Yeah, it'll go up next year.
But I don't know what the Braves have as far as, but wait a minute. Let me get to their surplus. There we go. Look at Harris is their biggest. Strider, Riley, but surprisingly, the Acuna is that low. But I don't know what the Giants really need, but
I mean, maybe you could move, maybe if they fall way out of it, you can look at moving Doval. Tyro or Wade might be able to get you like a decent prospect back. I mean, it's not going to be like a top 100 or anything like that, but
right.
I mean, if we're just looking at guys that have value, like you said, Webb, the one I floated as kind of just a fun hypothetical, I just said, if you called Baltimore and you could get Kobe Mayo, Heston Kjerstad, and then throw another prospect in there for Logan Webb, like, would you do it? And I mean,
goodness, man.
Here,
Kobe Mayo could be a third baseman for a long time.
But those guys are the 21 and 23rd ranked prospect in the top 100 right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would think long and hard because those are both guys in AAA. They're both on the edge, and you could get those two and one more prospect probably. And
but then again, it's not always a guarantee.
It's never a guarantee. No,
because look at Texas. You're talking about, remember Langford and Evan Carter, and they're not really panning out too well right now.
Yeah,
they will.
Yeah. It's a swing for the fences. It's one of those things that you make that move thinking, if this works, we just gave our lineup an almost overnight facelift.
True.
And it could change the trajectory. And it would suck that you lost Webb, but you feel confident that you have a ton of young pitching. And here's the other part of that. This team can't seem to get any positional players in free agency, but I'd like to think that they could get a pitcher eventually if they really wanted to, fork out the money. So
Right.
it was just a hypothetical. It was just kind of a fun. I don't think there's any chance they would trade him. I just don't, unfortunately, especially with Farhan running it. He doesn't have the guts to make that kind of move.
No.
So
I know who would. Brian Sabian.
Hey, yeah, he traded Matt Williams.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would allow the team to get to such a state to where you'd have to trade Webb. That's the issue.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
You know who's from Maryland, right? Lamont Wade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if he would fit.
I was going to say Babe Ruth.
they
grew up in Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore needs pitching bad. Like starters, relievers, closer, whatever, it doesn't matter. They need pitching, and that's where I'm like, I could see them being desperate.
Would you do this trade? Would you do this trade?
Hold
on. Couldn't you get more from Logan Webb and Doval for just those two, though?
You look at the points. You got to look at the points.
Yeah, I know, but man, dude.
Jackson Holiday?
I don't know.
I mean, it feels an awful lot like putting. I mean, Kowser's nice. I feel like you're putting.
I still like the Kobe Mayo.
I think you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket.
to go after Jackson Holiday. Yeah, the guy's going to be. He's going to be.
Yeah, probably. Maybe. But his first look didn't look too good.
You know
what? And I'm not trying to put too much weight in that.
He's 19. Yeah. Just turned 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it could be like, you could look like the smartest person ever, but you're also, like I said, you're putting all your eggs on one guy.
I would do that.
Practically.
I would do that. You're getting two everyday players.
Get rid of Kowser and maybe put in Mayo. That's what I would do.
Too many points for Mayo. Look.
What's Kierstead?
I'll show you the points. Let me pull it.
Just out of curiosity.
Mayo's at 47.
Mayo's almost 48, and you said
Where
Mayo
was Kowser at 37?
Kierstead was lower even. Okay.
Kierstead was 26.
I still would take out Kowser. I'd take over.
I like Kowser's power.
Mm-hmm.
We got plenty of outfielders. That's why I'm saying Mayo could either be your first or third baseman.
Yeah, Nick says
mashes.
Would Boston part with Nick York for a guy like Wade and maybe a bullpen piece we have besides Walker or Rodriguez? It's possible. You know what I did? I did do the trade the other day with Marcelo Meyer, their shortstop. Mm-hmm. That worked. Along with I think it was York. You could get a couple guys. See, I don't think Webb's value is going to get much higher. They're not winning even on this team with Webb. They're like 5-12 or something.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's weird.
Starts, and I don't think Webb.
Man, see,
I think Webb is a guy that. How do I say this? If his sinker is not on, and it's
a long day. Yeah.
It's a long day, and teams jump on him. They wait for that pitch up.
Yep.
And it's very hittable. I mean, I love Logan Webb, but I don't think he's.
Could you imagine if you traded Webb and Doval, you got Mayo and Holiday, your left-sided infield is done. You're done. And then if you trade for that York kid, now you got your second baseman. Bryce Eldridge will be coming up as your first baseman. Man,
they need to be thinking in terms of they need to be thinking in terms of 2027.
Yes.
Yeah.
This team is not going to do anything this year that is going to, all of a sudden, if they do, I mean, it's a shock. And, I don't think you build a franchise to hope for the shock. I think you try to build a winning team that can play for the future.
Yes.
And so by the time the Giants get good, either Webb is getting old and starting to fade, or his contract's getting closer to the end and they're looking at free agency. What does he sign for after this? 4 more years after this, or 5?
Webb?
Yeah.
I believe
After
it's 4.
Year,
so that's the counter to this would be that, barring an implosion, his value, whether he has 4 years or 3 years or 3.5 or whatever, like, not because I think he is 4.5 right now. So whether he has 4.5 or 3.5 years, his value is going to be probably about the same.
The only thing I worry about with Webb, is the number of innings he puts on that arm, and it could go.
Yeah.
If that arm goes,
forget about it.
Forget it. You lost your window. And it takes somebody that has more of a visionary type person. Webb's got a very team-friendly contract, and he's young, and he's a solid 2. He's a solid number 2. I don't think
perfect in Baltimore because he's cheap.
Yeah.
And he just goes from orange and black to black and orange.
I mean, I would go after Holiday. Why not?
I don't know if they would give him up, though.
I don't think that he's attainable. I really don't.
He might be the one guy that's untouchable. Maybe
they have 2 guys that are in the top 10.
Hey, Fernando Tatis was at one point untouchable.
Was he?
You would think the White Sox gave him up for nothing.
Where was he rated in the White Sox when they traded him?
He was their number 1 prospect.
I thought he.
But what was he in baseball? Not the organization.
Oh, he was. I don't know where he was. He was
earlier or later on, but yeah,
he was near the top, I believe. Tatis. I can't remember exactly, but if you got Webb and Duvall, Baltimore is now like
they may trade some other guys, but they may not get.
They may not want to trade Holiday simply because of the reaction. They might get, but. I don't know. That's my deal. But anyway, we'll see. I mean, we're going to have some trade shows coming up in July. Right now, I mean, we're
right about the time you come back from the Philippines. It's going to get hot and heavy.
Yeah, I'll be back on the 10th. And, that's 3 weeks before the deadline. I'd be shocked if Farhan had done anything.
No, come on.
I don't think Farhan does anything until the day of. That's just what he does. And you know what? By waiting, instead of being preemptive, the best players are gone.
Yep.
And that's what he does. He'll feel the market out. I mean, hey, I've said it 100 times. A tiger doesn't change his stripes. Farhan is passive. He's cautious, and he's afraid to make a bold move. And
I'm telling you, the announcement's going to be, hey, we got Cobb, we got Ray.
Yeah.
That's our trade deadline acquisitions.
Yep. That article's coming out.
Oh, it's happening.
That article is going to – Pavlovich or Baggerly is going to write an article where they say, oh, this is like their – they'll use the words like this is like their trade acquisition.
Yes. Watch.
100% going to happen.
Going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, man. Cody, it's been great having you on. We really appreciate your insight to the Giants farm system and the big club as well. Man, it's a wealth of information. And tomorrow night, guys, we were going to be coming on a little earlier than 8:30. We're coming on. Let me just double check something here, and I'll tell you. Go ahead, Eric. Fill in.
No problem. Check this out. This ball boy needs to get paid $2 million. Did you see this? Thanks, Mark Graves, for tweeting this to us. Check this out. Who's that? You see that?
Let's do that again.
You see who's behind him?
Oh man!
Foul ball was at a beeline to Ohtani. Look at the trainer in the back. Everyone's ducking. Everyone's ducking. That
Oh
guy
my
bare hands it. Saves Otani's life.
Even the
He's got a new interpreter.
Boom.
well, look at that.
Look
The
at that.
Dodgers hire really good bald girls down the line that can catch, and they look at all it.
Look at the guy's face. That's awesome.
Look at Otani, man.
That would have nailed him right in the back
That's
of the
pretty
head.
impressive.
I'm surprised they do not have.
Wow.
I'm surprised they do not have screens for those dugouts, man. Those guys.
I know.
You got to be every pitch.
Yeah.
You know, another thing I've always thought of, because I've seen this happen in the minor leagues. I saw a coach for the Giants get drilled in the face.
Oh, yeah. Remember in spring training?
Yeah, I was at that game. It was ugly. He had to be airlifted out.
It was the first base coach that got nailed, right? Isn't that who it was?
Yeah, it was
Aguasilia or something like that.
Can't remember his name, but
yeah, that was bad.
I'm surprised that Major League Baseball. I know it's kind of awkward, but if you're a right-handed batter, it seems to me that the on-deck circle, you just should walk to the other side of the, I know you're on the opposition. Maybe it's the other dugout. And if it's a left-handed bat, because you're like 20, 30 feet away from the batter. And if he hits one, you have no time to react because your hands you're on the bat.
Yeah.
Who almost got hit yesterday? Wasn't it someone on the Cubs? It hit the donut on the ground.
Oh yeah, it was Pete Crow Armstrong and on deck circle.
Yeah.
It hit the donut. Yeah.
I wish we had one guy in our system that could run like him.
Oh my God. Did you hear how quick he got around from first to home?
I didn't look at
it was amazing.
8.9 seconds he got around those bases.
He was flying.
The dude flies, man.
Man, he was flying. Flying. Got a question for Cody. Nick donates $4.99. Says, question for Cody, who watches a lot of Giants minor league ball like me. Who is a sleeper in Giants system? Who has caught your eye this year?
Yeah. So the one that I'm just now getting to see in San Jose, so I can't comment too much, was Lisbel Diaz. Can't say I'd heard a ton about him, and it's been really cool seeing what he's done. Now that he's in San Jose, it's nice to see him play. I think he had a double and a homer today. But the one that really has caught my eye this season has been Jack Choate. I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's a lefty. He has kind of a funky delivery. He's got like a 2.1 ERA or 2.2 ERA in Eugene. He'll probably get. I think I read he got promoted to Richmond, but online it's still showing him in Eugene, so I'm not really 100% sure. But yeah, he's got kind of a weird delivery, and he's been really, really good. So I think he was in. I think he might have thrown in the fall league last season with. When Crawford was over there, I think those were two of their guys that went out there. I think Carter Howell was the third. But yeah, he's done really well.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. All right. So tomorrow night, the plan is this: 8:00. We will come on tomorrow night. Giants play an afternoon game. 8:00. Catch us early. Probably be a short show, about 30 minutes. 8 to 8:30 show. And then Eric will go live, I'm guessing, at about 9 or
right around there. Yeah.
About 9 tomorrow night with Military History Chronicles. Maybe break down a little bit of the debate, maybe. I don't know. Presidential debate tomorrow night.
Yep.
So, just catch us at 8:00 tomorrow. Like I said, it's going to be a short show. I'm heading off to the Philippines on Friday, so I got to get moving. So we're going to be back tomorrow night. Giants go for the sweep tomorrow.
Let's do the lineup. It's a lefty going. It's Imanaga. So we already said Slater, Ramos.
Slater leading off. Ramos batting second.
Flores batting third. Always for lefty.
If Flores isn't in there, I don't know if he's going to play or not because VR.
I say he plays tomorrow. Thanks, Fossey.
Okay, let's say he plays. Flores third, Soler fourth, Chapman fifth.
You think? Didn't they swap that up? Do you know who they had batted cleanup today? Bailey. But I don't think he's going to play.
Is he
tomorrow.
cleanup or?
He batted cleanup today.
Behind. That's right. Chapman was third.
Chapman is batting fifth. Soler was sixth.
All right.
Yeah,
So
or was
who
it the other
knows?
way
I
around?
think Casali's going to play.
I think Casali plays tomorrow. Bats 8th or 9th. Probably 9th. So you're going to have in the outfield, you'll have Conforto will bat 6th, probably maybe 7th. Matos 8th, or vice versa.
Ahmed will be ninth.
Ahmed will be in the lineup. Jeez. Yeah.
Yep, he will be.
Yeah.
Strada,
Strada.
eighth or 1 in the order.
Yeah. So sweep tomorrow. Unlikely, but I mean,
never know.
Cubs, but it could happen
because Cubs, man, they can't hit.
Cubs
they can't hit right now.
Yeah,
worst in the majors with runners in scoring position. It's not us.
It's not us.
They've been bad. They've been bad.
They have been.
So, all right, guys, have a great night. Enjoy the game
Nick.
tomorrow. 12:45 start. If you're able to catch it, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Yes, Nick, it's Imanaga. How do you say his name?
Imanaga.
Imanaga. I always get that
Imanaga.
wrong. Imanaga tomorrow. Imanaga. Yep. And Austin Slater does.
Oh yeah, Slater's playing tomorrow. He's going to lead off.
Yeah, he'll lead off. Jeez, worst lead. Gosh, just whatever. All right. We're out. See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys, at 8:00. Remember, never forget Willie Mays.